How are you doing, everybody? I've just arrived, I've set up. On the first cast. I've just been speaking to Phil, who's just over there. I'm not going to move the camera because it's in a bit of a precarious position today. So the camera is going to stay static. And Phil, it was on the live stream earlier in the week in the chat, has come down and joined me to fish, and he's had a trout second cast just before I got here. Can you believe it? Jammy so and so. But at least we know there's fish here. So thanks for joining me. I think there's 5 people in the chat already, which is great. Thanks for joining. We're fishing the same old blanking method, which is Drennan feeder, 3/4 of the way across, worm on the hook, and liquidised bread and maggot inside the feeder. So we'll see how that does. Lee got no. I invited him, Lee. He's not poaching. He did say, "Can I come?" I said, "Of course you can. There's room. There is room." So he's good. Hey Smithy, yes, I have fished it at Little Lever, and yes, it is good, but mostly for trout. And it's not quite trout season yet. I think March the 16th. My view is anywhere north of Farnworth is mostly trout and grayling. There's very few coarse fish upstream of Farnworth. There are some, not very many. Most of the coarse fish are downstream of Farnworth. Right, I've had a cast. Time for it. We come. Standard setup. Drennan feeder. Quite a long hook length. Dendrobina worm with the tail snipped off. Oh. Just tighten up. So we cast probably 3/4 of the way across there. I cast it a bit further. Every time I cast it that little bit further, I've not had the time to go to the tackle shop. The feeder just bounces a little bit in that stronger flow on the far side. And it sort of gives me a false indication that I've got a bite. If I cast it 10 yards shorter in the slack, then it just sits and it's static. But I do, if you're a fish, then that faster flow is your food conveyor belt, isn't it? So that's why if you're a fish, that's where you need to go to feed. You're not really going to feed in the slack. You just sit in the slack to conserve energy. Who knows? Because Phil, who's 20 yards to my right, he's been casting into the slack and he caught. So maybe he knows better than I do. But it's freezing again. It's 4 degrees today again. I hate winter. I'm really looking forward to spring coming along and visiting a few more venues for tench and carp and everything else that swims a bit and feeds a bit better. See, in the winter you really got to fish, unless you're pike fishing on a lake, you've really got to be on a river, don't you, for catching, unless you go to a commercial. You'll be able to see now, you'll see a splash in a minute. Phil's having a cast. We'll see where that lands. Yeah. So I'm probably about 10 yards further across than where he cast. Cool. Hey, the more people that fish it, the more information you get, the more fish you catch. It's always interesting to see how somebody else approaches the same swim that you're fishing. So, and he's fishing. I'm fishing on a sort of super long helicopter stroke paternoster style of swim feeder, and his is more direct line through on a running rig. So again, difference in styles. There will be a different result in results. It's interesting to see which way works best. So, I nearly got in trouble today. Obviously it's Valentine's Day. I forgot. Didn't buy a card till 9 PM last night, so I sneaked in through the deadline, and I've taken the missus out for lunch because we can't find babysitters for our kids, and they're just not quite old enough to look after themselves. And also, I don't like being ripped off on special Valentine's Day menu. Eh? And us Angles, we know that. It's Mugs menu, isn't it? Mugs menu. So I'm going to be here. What time do we start today? About 2:05, so we'll be finishing about 3:30 when the battery packs up. And as always, just in time for me to nip up the road, jump in the car as quick as I can, nip up the road, and go and pick up my middle son from football practice after school. And I always tell you what I'm having for my tea. Friday night is pizza night. I've already made the dough. 50% wholemeal flour, 50% strong white. Bob's your uncle. No additives, no E-numbers. Healthy pizza. If there is such a thing as a healthy pizza, with all that cheese we put on the top. Now, let's have a look at the chat. Chat's going crazy while I'm not looking. Smithy, you've just moved to Little Lever. Good luck there. Where have you moved from, Smithy? Is it a trade up or a trade down? So normally on this river, on the Irwell, if you tip fishing and you catch a trout, they just go crazy. Boom! Start running off. Rod tip goes bang right over. If you've got a bait runner on, the bait runner normally starts screaming. You get a proper bite from it. It's like a great big boom, big twitch. Over it goes. Phil's turned around and said that his bite hardly registered on his rod tip, which is interesting. Up there, blue sky, little mackerel clouds, lovely. When I got up this morning, it was 10 to 7, it was still dark, but 7:30 this morning, it's starting to get light, absolutely lovely. I hate winter and the darkness, oh dear. Well, eBay's doing well. I've just sold a couple of items. My private website's doing quite well for sales at the moment as well. I keep saying I'm going to launch my internet shop with fishing tackle on it. And I will do. I just don't. It's very time consuming listing the items and actually connecting everything together. So it's taken a little bit. It's taken a little bit longer than I thought because I've been doing other things and I've not had the time. But I suppose I should put money first, really, shouldn't I? And actually just block out some time and fight my way through it. That's the way, isn't it? Instead of being procrastinating your way. No, it's just the way. Instead of procrastinating your way through life, it's just sometimes best just to grab it and do it, isn't it? That's what I think I'll do. So we've got Smithy from Little Lever, we've got me from Prestwich, we've got Lee Garner who's fairly local to the Irwell, and everybody else out there. Where are you all from? Have we got any international viewers in yet? So I hope the sound quality is alright and there's not too much buffering. I forgot to check the internet before I started today to see what sort of speeds I was getting. So on Sunday night I'm thinking of going fishing in the centre of Manchester, night fishing in the centre of Manchester, which will be a bit of an experience for you all. And my internet speed, I said before, my internet speed there is off the scale because I can plug into my friend's business Wi-Fi. And I said to him, have you got 5G? And he said, oh, he's got 300G. And when you do, his Wi-Fi speed's incredible because your download speed's over 100 megabytes a second. It's fantastic. What else is new? I'm off to Fleetwood on Sunday. That'll be nice. So Saturday's football day, and Sunday I'm going to Fleetwood to look at a boat. So as I've told you, if you've listened in before, I used to do a little bit of sailing when I was a teenager, and on various holidays over the years I've been sailing in the Whitsunday Islands in Australia and Turkey and various other places, and I always love it. And then for a couple of years, obviously my kids the youngest kids are now 9 and 12, I joined Lee Sailing Club at Pennington Flash a couple of years ago, and we had a great summer there, sailing on lasers, optimists, enterprises, wayfarers, all sorts of boats, and really enjoyed ourselves. But I don't really like capsizing, getting cold and wet. It's not my thing, and I don't like the racing side of it. I much prefer just to very, very slowly potter about and do my own thing. And to be truthful, the only reason that I joined was so I could go fishing for pike off a boat. And as soon as I got my fishing rods out, they looked at me and said, "Oh, you're one of them." They don't really like anglers. I think there's been a bit of friction between the anglers and the sailors. So I was immediately switched into the fisherman's camp by them. So I didn't rejoin the next year. I don't think they were glad. But so I had a year or so without a sailing club, and then now we're going to join Blackpool Sailing Club, do a bit more dinghy sailing with the kids, and I'm going to buy a bigger boat with a lid on it and sails. So that's the plan. I can do a little bit of exploring and a little bit of fishing. But first things first, I've just got to sort out joining the sailing club, making sure it's alright, making sure I can get a berth for a boat. I'm not going to get a huge like yacht or super-sized gin palace, just like 24. I don't want to be spending nearly 80 quid a week every week just on boat parking fees. Because to be quite honest, NCP in Manchester charge less than that for a season tickets parking. So the boat club have got a much more value for money offering. That's the best description. Value for money offering. So it's only a few £100 a year plus, I think, 120 quid to join the boat club. So that makes sense. And also for me in Prestwich, it's an hour's drive to Liverpool, or it's an hour's drive to Fleetwood. So, well, we'll see. And then I'll do a bit of fishing in the Irish Sea with you all, which is something that I really enjoy. Obviously got my little rib, the little yellow boat with the Honda engine that I've been out on before. And I've done quite a few vlogs when I've been out on there, but again, I never feel 100% safe on a rib, whereas I feel much safer on a more structured fiberglass boat with a roof, with a door, with an engine, with a life raft. So it's just doing it properly, isn't it? And I like the sailing. But as yet, no bites. And now I've started talking, Phil hasn't had any more bites. So we'll see what happens. It's nice to be out. I'm looking forward to getting out and doing some sea fishing soon with my other Joe. This gentleman on my right is called Phil. And I must know, off the top of my head, at least a dozen people called Phil. And I thought Mike, which is my name, was the most popular name for my generation. So, if I went and had a look at the names in my daughter's class at school, or my son's class, and see how many Mikes and Phils there are, we've gone extinct. Kids don't call their children Mike or Phil anymore. So that's a shame. I'm now officially out of date. I've passed my name has passed its sell by date. Like the hat, I had some complaints about my United hat last time out. So this time I've gone for neutral blue. I've got quite a lot of hats, sadly. So my hair's getting thinner and I don't like being cold. Well, another 2 minutes and we'll have another cast. I'm most disappointed, and if this is the nearest swim to my house, then this is disappointing that there's so few fish in this swim. Because you'll see if you carry on watching, and I keep on with these live streams, as you go up and down the river, you'll see that in certain areas there's quite a lot of fish, and it's easy to catch. It's easy to catch in certain places, but not from the looks of it here. But there's not any like leaves or sticks floating down the river to bang in my line to give even that hope that I might have a bite. Do you know what it's like when how many of you go beach casting on the shore? Very often you've got a pair of rods up and then a bit of seaweed will drift along in the tide and hit your line, and it gives you a bit of hope that there's fish there. But when it's standard fixed like that, it can be a bit depressing at times. But anyway, snap out of this depression and let's have another cast. We've got loads of bait, so we might as well use it all and cast frequently. You see, I've mixed up the crumb and the maggots now because I want to use them up. And I might use them up tomorrow morning on a canal somewhere. Or I might go to but it's a lovely day. It's just a pleasure to be out. So, has anybody else got any fishing trips lined up at the moment? I'm in two minds next week as to what to do, whether to carry on in this swim. I think I should do, just because it's good fun. It's so close, I can come for an hour or two and be home in the blink of an eye. But the problem is that whilst I like being out, I also like catching fish. And until this swim starts producing, I'm going to be in two minds whether to come back or not. But I reckon we've got another hour or so before the GoPro battery runs out. And you just never know, don't you? That's it, with fishing, you just never know. Moaning that I'm not catching anything, and then all of a sudden one of those rare Irwell barbel or Irwell carp might just scoot past, because they do exist. Might just scoot past, take a fancy to my bait, hook into it, hopefully land it. Red letter day, and that's the beauty of fishing. You never know when that's going to happen, do you? You never know. It's the anticipation, isn't it? And the expectation you might catch something, but you don't know what it is. That's the beauty of fishing, isn't it? Because sometimes you can go, say for example, I could go to Bradshaw's today on one of their snake match canals, and I know that I'm going to just catch loads and loads of F1 carp. And that, to be fair, I can manage it on a once every blue moon basis of catching lots of fish and being busy. But in terms of what floats my boat and what I consider to be achievement, that's an achievement. And F1 bagging isn't really my sort of thing. So I don't think you'll see a lot of that on my channel, ever. And if you do, come and shoot. But as I say, look, it's the anticipation. First thing I do when I set up fishing, before I set up, I was taught this by my dad, before you ever set up your fishing rod, set up your landing net and everything else ready in case you catch a fish. Because there's nothing worse than having a good fish on and then not being prepared to land it. So as soon as, before you even cast in for your first cast, you'd always be prepared to land a fish. I'm still only on the one rod. It's pretty bone idle. I've got 2 rods in the car, and I've got another reel and equipment in my bag here. It's just bone idle fishing one rod, isn't it? And it's so easy, this, you know, to rig up so easy. There you go, just left you all a message in the chat. Who's fishing this weekend? Where are you going to go? What are you going to catch? Are you going to do the sensible thing in February and stay indoors and keep warm? I suppose one of the things that I'm missing out on by only fishing one rod is the speed of experimentation with baits, because obviously I'm not really experimenting at the moment. I'm being a bit lazy because I'm just getting used to the live streaming and the GoPro, etc, etc, how it works on the internet and the download speed you need and all sorts of other stuff. But if I was fishing for myself without all the extra stuff going on, I would have 2 rods in, and I'd be experimenting with baits and also different rigs and setups to see what works. But I don't know if I'm a bit, not disheartened, that's not the right word, disinclined is the correct word, to do it here. Because I know there's not a huge number of fish. If there were lots of fish, and you can fine-tune what you're doing quite quickly because the fish respond here. Because for me, there's been no response, has there, so far from the fish? In Phil's caught one. No. I don't know if you saw that on the film. Someone's just walked in and thrown a load of stuff and walked off again. I don't know what that was. He just walked up to the river, threw a load of stuff in and walked off again.
Maybe we don't want to know.
Maybe we're in this swim. That was a bit strange. I thought it was a fish at first. Well, who knows? We had a visitor. I don't know if you saw him. I'm going to have a rewind and a look when I get home. We had a visitor over there. A gentleman in a high vis came and started throwing things in the river and then just walked off again. I actually thought it was a fish jumping at first. Oh look, fish action. And it wasn't, it was just someone throwing stuff in. But there we go. Okay, you can see now from when I first started, if you scroll back that way, but you can see the clouds slowly coming over now from the west. So we're facing east, that's east that direction there, north is that way, and west is behind us, and the clouds always come over from the west here. But at least you've got a view here actually of the rod tip against the sky, so if my rod does go like that, you will be able to see it in contrast to the sky. Because I did realise that for internet fishing, using a white rod tip, not the best for you guys, is it? I released another, well, these are my live YouTube stuff, but I also on the channel, if you look at, I knew a load of actual set videos as well. So even though I've been videoing for quite a while on and off and half-heartedly and a little bit more heartedly, I've actually started numbering my videos now, so I'm up to episode 8. sort of drew a line under what I'd done previously and said, right, I'm going to start taking this a bit more serious. So once I started taking things a bit more seriously, I started numbering the videos that I put out. So I'm now up to number 8, and in number 8 I catch a lovely pike from the lake that's 500 yards in that direction. So I caught it on dead baits, and we've actually got the bite live on camera. You can watch the float disappear underwater in Fishing Fiend episode 8. It's a pike. How's that? Appropriately titled, isn't it? I thought really hard about that one. It's a pike, it's called, episode 8. And it was a nice fish as well. Again, after a couple of blanks, it's always nice to catch a fish. I can see now in my little window here, we're up to 12 viewers. Now, I've never had more than 11 people watching one of my live streams at once, and I thought, ooh, Friday afternoon, everyone's at work, bored, hopefully finished all the work for the week, waiting for the weekend, mind's wandering after a hard week's graft. I wonder if people want to watch a fishing video. So that's why we're live out this afternoon, just to see if we get more people than we normally do. So we never know. Channel's slowly growing. I think this morning I had a look, I was on 600 subscribers, which made me happy. Broke the 600, but I was stuck in the 500s for about 2 years, so I didn't really put very much out. And then in the last 3 weeks I've started putting out quite a fair bit of content, and all of a sudden my subscriber level started jumping up, and the number of impressions and watch hours and all that sort of thing. So that'll be good, because if I can actually get to 1,000 subscribers and, what did they say, 4,000 watch hours, YouTube will start paying me, and I'll use that money, I'll recycle it into fishing, and it'll be petrol money to get me out fishing. A little bit further away than the centre of Manchester. But still no bites, and since I've arrived, Phil's not had any bites either. So, but I've not even been fishing an hour yet. So I'm looking forward to the football tomorrow. My team, which is FC United, had a terrible start to the season. They sacked the manager, which I was glad about, and sad at the same time. I was sad because I actually quite liked him. He was a very nice fellow. But I'm glad because his tactics had gone rubbish. And you can't tell, I mean, what do I know about football? I can't go up to the manager of my local team, semi-professional, say, listen, you're doing it all wrong, you should do this and this. So you keep your mouth, well, I did, I kept my mouth shut. Anyway, the board finally saw the light. They released him, let him go, got a new guy in, and this new guy has done exceedingly well. So they're now mid-table. So after being second bottom when he took over, they're now mid-table, and hopefully we'll finish this season in the top half of the league, and then we can look forward to a playoff promotion push next season if he can maintain the momentum that he's got. So I love my football. I've always gone and watched it on Saturday afternoon, not Saturday afternoon, but I get a good few games in. But my 12-year-old's absolutely obsessed with football. I can't get him fishing. You like computer games and to the front. And even on the computer games he plays bloody football, FIFA. I was obsessed with fishing when I was that age, so it's just different, isn't it? Maybe if we didn't have great computer games when I was the same age he is now. We had ping pong, table tennis. But time for a recast. Too much talking. And this time I'm going to fish it 10 yards further downstream just to put that little bit, change the angle in the line and see if it helps prevent, I'll change the worm as well this time, if it helps to prevent that feeder bouncing, just to put more of an angle instead of fishing it more directly across. There we go. Bit of a smaller worm. The worm's not washed out, so I've ripped the worm in half to make it a slightly smaller bait. I'll show you in a minute. Get this feed in. You see, oh, that's just like a worm head now. Let's just drop it in slightly, 10 yards downstream. So we'll see if that makes any difference. Well, I still cast at the same time. I like a magnet. Hey, magnetic casting to the same spot every time. And the wind was just about to blow my hooking mat away. Dear me. Because I can cast now, I can watch it because I'm ahead of you. I'm ahead of the picture, I can watch it. There, I can see the splash then, just to the left of the tree. Actually, I want to be just to the right of the tree. Pathetic, aren't I? Can't even cast straight. I like a metronome to the same spot every single time.
School run beckons.
Yeah, my wife's working from home today. Is that what you normally do? You work from home?
No, I normally work in
1 minute, socialising.
basically weekdays are free, weekends and weekends.
Yeah, that's
Which
what
is
it is.
the time.
Yeah.
So
I'm 70 times. I got Palo as a drummer, session drummer, tours the world with Peter Brook. So I'm the same as you are.
Occasionally, when it's summer, it brings the daylight.
I'm not just letting you know that I'm yeah, exactly. So there we go. So I'm the one because I enjoy it actually. just had in the yard. Well, now come to good work.
Well, best of luck.
Yeah, good. Listen, I fish a lot. I'm fishing with some friends. Thames is an interesting river. You can catch grey rivers.
There's people who say they drink.
They do.
No, but I think the people who know where they are, they keep swimming. So there's some guy whose name crops up who always says it's funny, isn't it? You can catch them and know where they are. But basically, he's the trout guy, isn't he? As well. But yeah,
He's worse than me for the I get a lot of stick for it because I don't care. Well, how dare you put a trout about this easy? So what?
Great for Christmas, rather than that, nothing's plain blue. At the end of the day, just dictate them as a child. Tell you what,
Yeah, that is.
send him here.
You on Sofa Friendly Animals?
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, nice one, nice to meet you. Well done on the fish. Jealous.
Got a blank.
Ah, no. That's why I want to go fishing with you again so I can unpick you and learn your
Well,
secrets.
it's a shame we didn't catch it before the live feed started.
Well, that's the one. No one will believe it. You know what they're like. See, Phil, who's over there. Hang on, do it this way. He's over there, packing away. And that's me. He caught a fish before I arrived. Can't believe it. But he did show me a picture, and his unhooking mat was wet. So I believe him. And it was a nice fish as well. Let me just put that back on the stand. Now we're going to struggle. There we go. I hope that's better. Let me go behind and have a look at the view. Look at that. Now we'll make the view worse. I'll come back in front of the camera. But there we go. It's all going wrong now. Shoelaces are coming undone. Phil's legging it off to pick his kids up from school. My wife's doing that job today, so I can stay a tiny bit longer. He's had a fish. I've not. Gutted. And I wandered off and left you, didn't I, to have a chat? And when I wandered off and left, yeah, look, the number of viewers increased as I disappeared from talking to. So as I left the view and shut up and stopped talking, the number of people watching my rod tip increased. But as Phil's going now, and I don't feel so bad about casting down to the right, we'll reel in and we'll just move when I drop the feeder that little distance better to the right. And go, up we come. Word tip is still on. And all my pinkies now are beginning to, they're so old, and I've got a good coating of casters up over the top now. So when I go today, I don't know if I chuck them in or see if I can make them stretch the canal tomorrow. Let's see. Right then, to the right of the tree this time. That's better. In the middle, that'll. It wasn't as far downstream as I wanted, but it was an improvement from where it was previously. There we go, tighten up. sit back and enjoy the view. Look at that. Can't believe it. We're on 17 people watching fishing on a Friday afternoon now. We should be doing other things like work. We're picking people up from school. As soon as I mention it, we drop down to 12. I love this. Honestly, more people watch when I shut up. But it is fun. See you soon, Phil.
There's a lot.
I'll need it. Just be on your own, relax with your own thoughts, isn't it? There we go, let's see a couple of comments. I reckon we've got half an hour left together before the inevitable death of the GoPro camera battery, which is pretty good timing for me today because 3:30, pack up, I can nip up to my son's high school and pick him up after football training, which he will enjoy rather than having to walk 2 miles home. He's a good lad. He walks 2 miles to school on his own in the morning because the bus is. He doesn't bother waiting for the bus because it's so unreliable. If he waits for the bus and the bus doesn't turn up, he's late for school. And sometimes he can be up to like 45 minutes late for school, which is really bad. So he's fed up with that. So he just turned around and said, "I'd rather just go on my own." So he's a good lad. He walks to school 2 miles. Sets off at 7:30. And gets there and meets his friends at the shop at about 8:10, and then they all walk the rest of the way together. It's nice. Oh, we need a fish. So next week, I'm not going to do it on the live stream, it will be on volume 9, I think, of Fishing Fiend. I'm going to fish. Oh, a bit of a drop back there. I'm going to fish a cat goosander. Oh, no, it's not, it's a tufted duck. I'll put my glasses on. I'm going to fish small little in Cheshire next week. And it's very different from this river, the Irwell, because it's full of fish, which is what we want. We don't want to be going fishing and just looking at a stationary rod tip, or you lot listening to me droning on about my life, what I think about fishing very other bit. I buy a boat, I like watching football and all that blah de blah thingy-majiggy rubbish. You know, I can talk like right load of gubbins, but it is actually better when you catch fish, isn't it? And this particular section of river is about a mile long, and I know that I will catch chub dace and grayling and maybe the occasional rogue trout because it's out of season, and obviously they're not allowed to eat anglers' baits during the close season. So that's me, I'll give that a go next week. You can figure out it's the river near Manchester Airport for those who are really interested, and that's where I'm going to go next week, and I'll give that a session or two on light lures rather than this type of fishing with a feeder. I'm going to fish light lures and little 2 gram jig heads and 1 gram jig heads and see what I can catch. My phone's busy this afternoon. There's lots going on in mobile phone land that's going to need my attention when I get back in this afternoon. Plenty of emails to reply to. And all the other drama of life. Which is why fishing's so nice, isn't it? Because you just come and escape that drama, and there's me on my mobile phone. But I have to be on my mobile phone to live stream to you guys. Come on, fishers, I know you're here. So I think next week, yeah, we'll have a trip to that small river, and I think we'll go about 5 miles down that way and fish the top end of the Manchester Ship Canal at Pomona. And put a nice big feeder out and see what happens. But I've done very well down there in the past. But we need a day when it's not very windy. It's quite open and exposed, and it's a big piece of water. It's a big chop on it. But, could be fun. So we'll have a see. Yeah. The only problem with sharing the swim now is obviously Phil's dropped a load of bait in where he was fishing, and if there are any fish, they've got more options, don't they, than just me. Not that I'm moaning. It's nice to meet a fellow angler, and if any of you guys who are watching on the live stream ever want to come fishing with me, just say so, and we can arrange it. I like a little bit of company. See, I know so many Phils. As long as you're not called Phil, because it's becoming confusing that I know that many Phils. I should start calling it Phil 1, Phil 2. I can't do that. And then I made the mistake the other day of calling normal Phil and abnormal Phil. I hope I didn't insult the abnormal Phil. You know who you are, and I didn't mean it that way. I should have called you occasional Phil rather than abnormal. That was a wrong choice of words. Occasional Phil, because I only see you occasionally, rather than regular Phil, who I see a lot of. And that was new Phil. And then I've got Blackpool Phil, who does the sweets, and accountant Phil. It's never ending, number of Phils I know. Electrician Phil, wow. Fishing club bailiff manager builder Phil. Gosh, there's a lot. Obviously all of you are named after some sort of French king or Spanish king. They're all called Philippe, aren't they? We've had no big drop backs, and we've had no big pull downs, and the only rod tip action has been either the wind catching the line and just giving it a little nod, or the feeder just losing its grip on the bottom. I do need some feeders. I've not done it yet, but I definitely need some feeders that weigh more, probably another 30 grams rather than the 23 that I'm currently using. They're just a tiny bit too lightweight, and occasionally just lift and trip along. I could do the easy thing would be just to add my own strip of lead, wouldn't it? But since when did I ever choose easy? Right then. Let's celebrate life with a new worm. Hey, living life. I'll chuck that in there. And we'll get on a new worm. Oh look, this is behind me. That's no good. There we go. I always just snip the tail off the worm. Let a little bit of juice out. There we go. Let's get this feeder filled. And back out. I was going to call it the action zone, but it's not really the action zone, is it? The lack of action zone. Pack this feeder up. There we go. Now I want to be another 5 yards downstream, is even better. There we go. There we go, that's same place as last time. Just tighten up a little. There we go, that'll do. It's cold. soon be summer. I'd have been moaning it's too hot. That's me, I'm definitely one of those people that likes it hot. There's nothing more pleasant than fishing in a t-shirt and having your arms bitten to death by all the mosquitoes. Oh, I'm just having a look at the picture that you're looking at, and isn't it nice watching that rod tip up against the sky? So if I go like that, bang bang bang, give it a bing bang boot, and hopefully that's what a bite's going to look like, otherwise it will spring back up. There we go. So if you've not seen yet, episode 8's out on the old YouTube channel, and that's a catch a fish in that one, catch a nice pike. So next week, I've had enough of this blanking on the river. I'm going to go to a river with some fish in it, and I'll have a fish on a nice little river in Cheshire, which I know has got plenty of fish in, and I'm just going to fish some like 5 centimetre jellies and see what we can get. And on Sunday night, if I get the opportunity, or if I've got the inclination, I might go live on Sunday night, and I've got some luminous lures that I can shine my ultraviolet torch on, makes them really glow brightly in the dark, and just go. And I'm going to go fishing in the other side of Manchester and the Ship Canal and see if fish are interested in luminous lures or not. That'll be Sunday evening. Well, that's dependent on what time I get back from Fleetwood with the family. We're on the last 10 minutes of the live stream. Yet again, it's the old Les Dawson or Larry Grayson blankety blank checkbook and pen. It's a bit disappointing, but it's good that Phil caught a fish who came before, but it wasn't me, and it wasn't on camera for you to see, which is what I really want. Whoa, business is booming on the internet for me this afternoon. Someone's bought 30 quid worth of lures there, that's nice. Especially of a pattern that I don't sell that often. That's good. Because they are actually good lures. I wish I did sell more of them, and I've got loads of them sitting in boxes. All my stock's collecting dust on shelves in my storeroom because I'm too slow at reorganising my internet shop and making it go live again. I don't know. I'm too busy with enjoying life to do things like work. So whoever said work was a dirty 4-letter word was 100% correct. I like it. That's the one thing I like about fishing here. When I fish on the lake, just over there, there's a never-ending stream of dog walkers and people's dogs that are off the lead, coming up, sniffing round my nets, sniffing round my feet, peeing on things, getting in the way. You hear them screaming, come here, come here. And none of the dogs obey, do they? No. Everyone always says, oh, my dog's well behaved. Well, it will be if it's on a lead. The ones that are not on a lead drive me nuts. But the nice thing about being here is nobody walks past. And I really like that. Obviously the main road's busy, loads and loads of traffic, but on the public footpath alongside the river right behind me, hardly anybody ever walks past. Lovely. As I say, I'm saving up for a boat at the moment. I don't like buying things. Buying things out of existing savings is not something I like doing. It goes against my better nature to spend money there. It's nice to have unallocated money, so I've got some money in that I saved up. It's just there. But I like to save up for things. It gives me a goal. So I started saving up and selling stuff that I don't want on eBay and making a little side pot of money to buy a boat. And I've got nearly £2 in the kitty to buy a 24-foot boat. And if you go on Facebook Marketplace and have a look, which is probably where I'm going to buy it from, there's loads for sale. Some of them are in good condition and have got like equipment to go with them, like sails, radios, life jackets, engines, etc. And some of them honestly, you have to put a cork in the bottom of some of them to stop the water coming in. The absolute leak buckets that people, I actually can't imagine that they honestly think that people are going to pay that sort of money for a boat in that sort of state. But my wife, she's laughing at me. When it's going to be a financial black hole, I'll get into and just start spending loads and loads of money on it. But you know what? So I don't care. I like little boy projects to keep me going, which is what she thinks buying a boat is. Now I think it's a solid investment in my fishing life and my fishing enjoyment, because I'll be able to go out into Morecambe Bay and the Irish Sea and just go and do my own thing and relax. Stick a rod over the side, catch some fish. I mean, I pay sometimes to go charter fishing. I'll have my own charter boat with nobody on it. So I won't have to worry about snagging other people's lines or getting on other people's ways. And when the sun's nice, not that you're going to, I'll be able to fish naked. How's that? Out in the middle of the Irish Sea. I won't be live streaming that. You're quite safe. Naked fishing. But I promise you now that's what I'll be doing. Getting all the tan on that mackerel tan. As soon as I mentioned naked fishing, we've dropped even more people out, and there's only 4 people watching. Oh, 6 again, but it's interesting because in the top left-hand corner it tells me how many people are watching. The most we had today was 17 that I saw, which would be a record for one of my live streams. So, quite happy with that. 7 people with nothing better to do than watch my stationary rod to me and talk rubbish. Good stuff. But if you do like listening to me witter, and if you do like watching my stationary rod tip, then give the live stream a thumbs up like that. You can see it there. Look, give it one of those, and hit the subscribe button, and then I can pollute your feed with all of my videos and other media that I put out there. And grow the channel, trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers level, and then I can start collecting some petrol money from YouTube for all those adverts that they make you watch. So if you're enjoying what you're seeing, passing the time of the day with me, then please give me a like and a subscribe. Very much appreciated. And also a message in chat, because the chat's been very quiet today, and I do like chatting to people, having a natter in the chat on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, sorry. Jack Bowles in the chat was out throwing nymphs for grayling on the river. Good. Nigel Greensit says he's meant to be shopping, but you're going to watch me catch a fish first. You're going to starve, Nigel. Nigel, go shopping. You're going to starve waiting to watch me catch a fish. Minnow Dunker says get 'em. And Jack Bowles says, oh, I hope you have more luck than I did, which means you probably blanked then, Jack, on the River Tame. Oh, Lee, I'm up to 607 subscribers now. Well, that's quite good, because I left the house at 600 this morning, Lee. So it's going up, it's ticking up slowly. We need to get to 1,000. It's a long way off. And so people have been leaving me messages and I've not been able to see them, and then all of a sudden it's like the post, they don't deliver for days, and then you get all your messages at once, all your posts at once. They don't deliver 6 days a week, do they, anymore? They save it up in the post office and deliver your mail twice a week. Cheats, even though you pay for a first class stamp. So we on the 3rd of January we were in South Africa with my family, and my wife sent herself a postcard just to see how long it would take for a postcard to arrive to the UK. Anyway, it arrived today, so it's 3rd of January to the 14th of February. Her South African postcard was delivered. And ever since I've been back, I've not been able to collected a bad chest again from English weather, and I keep coughing and snivelling, which is horrible. Yeah, Lee, come on the fishes. I know normally I'm chatting, come on United, but this time, come on the fishing. As I say, Phil, who was here before, he had one nice fish, about £2 brownie, but sadly not me. But it just goes to show, he's either a very good fisherman, I'm a very bad fisherman, or there was a fish here and he caught it. That's the way I'm going to view it. There was a fish here, Phil caught it, no one dry and blanking. We're on 15:30 now. We're on borrowed time with this GoPro. It don't last much longer. Come on, Rod. The last minute or two of this live stream we're on. Let's just see that rod tip go badang like that. Was it a badang? Is that a proper word? Padang, that's a place, isn't it? Is it Malaysia? Thailand, Indonesia, it's over there. Padang, but badang down, that's what we want to see. Great big rattle on that rod tip. What's the word for it in sort of like where you imagine something and it then becomes reality? I've forgotten the word. That's what we need, some of that. me imagining it, the rod going, and then it actually happening. Come on, we're definitely in the last 5 minutes now. Let me just check this battery on the back because I need to go and pick up my son at 4 o'clock.